I feel like the less I focus on me, the healthier I become. And when I'm not obsessed with every little meal, every little workout, every little habit, I'm not sad. I'm not lonely. I don't feel like a failure. And that's because oftentimes we set these like lofty, unrealistic expectations for ourselves, especially when it comes to appearance, and especially when it comes to body image, and especially when it comes to summer's coming soon. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the show. Thank you so much for clicking on today's episode. Wow, I am so excited to just chat with you guys today, one-on-one. It's just the two of us, no guest today. I think I did guests for like the past 4 weeks, which is crazy. I don't think that I've ever done that many guest episodes in a row. So I'm pumped to just be back on the mic and hang out with you guys. Hold on, I think my volume's a little bit too loud. Okay, I've got a very chill setup going on. And it's just like old times. I'm recording in my living room. I have my kombucha in a wine glass. It's like 7:30. I just took a nice little sunset walk around my apartment complex. And it just feels like old times. I talked about this a little bit at the beginning of last week's episode. I recorded with my little sister, Lexi. And we just recorded on the mic, no video. And it just felt so right. It just felt so relaxing, so chill. And that's what I loved so much about the podcast, was how chill it was. And for a while, I felt like I had to do video and I had to do this and I had to do that. And I just had to kind of operate in a certain way because that's kind of the standard now. Like podcasting has completely become its own industry. And there are certain like things that I always feel like I have to do because I constantly want to elevate the show and I want to produce the best possible content that I possibly can. But there's just something about turning on the mic and just talking to you guys like old times. So that's what we're going to do today. And I'm kind of trying to brainstorm ways to bring back the simplicity of the show. And because that's what I really miss. And I am getting the vibe that that's what you guys miss too. So hopefully you guys enjoyed today's episode. Like I said, I'm in my living room. I have my kombucha in a wine glass. I have the Trilogy. What's this called? The Trilogy. Oh, the Synergy Trilogy flavor. And I am currently icing my hip because I don't know if it was today or yesterday or whatever. I'm going to attribute it to the yin yoga class that I took. I think I overstretched my hip. That's my beef with yin yoga classes, is that sometimes it's a little bit too much stretching. If you guys don't know, yin yoga is just another variety of yoga, and it's very slow and you hold the poses for longer than you would in, say, a vinyasa class. And I think I got really, really deep into my left hip and something just does not feel right. So I took like a 30-minute walk trying to I finished my work day at my desk and I just went and I took like a 30-minute walk trying to shake out whatever this was, and I'm icing it because I think I tore it up. I also really went hard today during my workout. It was like a power and endurance workout. I really surprised myself though, because I don't think that this has anything to do with my hip, but because it was mostly upper body, but rope climbing was part of the last portion of our workout, and Lexi is always my workout partner. So we both had our own rack, and then there's a rope in between us. And I said, Lex, why don't we just pull the rope down and just see what we can do? Because really, truly, like in a workout, if you don't just see what you can do, if you don't add a little bit of extra weight to see what happens, if you don't, just kind of continue to elevate what you're doing and level up, you never progress. And so I've just been trying to really challenge myself and work out of my comfort zone. And so I said, Lex, let's pull the rope down off of the racks and just see what we can do. So pull the rope down, and guys, I could climb it. Like I really, really surprised myself. I climbed it up to the 15-foot mark 3 times. And I was really impressed with myself. And I had really tough shoes on too to climb in. So I'm really proud of myself. So that was kind of cool. I felt like a total cool person because I could climb the rope. But nonetheless, I don't think that has anything to do with my hip. I just wanted to flex the fact that I could climb the rope 3 times to 15 feet. Okay, that's enough flexing for today. So today's episode is going to be a little bit of, well, not a little bit of, it is the ultimate guide to a healthy spring reset. as you guys know, we just had a little time change this past weekend. The spring equinox is on Tuesday, and I just thought that it would be the perfect time to kind of share with you guys how I'm resetting for spring and how I'm just kind of like embracing the new season, because it really is one of the best times of year. I just think like anytime that the seasons switch over, it just feels so good because you're excited, you're anticipating what's to come. And to me, spring is so highly anticipated because we finally made it out of the dark, cold winter months. We finally made it out of like the sadness, essentially. Like my mood today has been so much better than it was like 2 weeks ago when it wasn't super nice outside. And so it really just goes to show how beneficial the sunshine is and how crazy it is that the weather can impact your mood the way that it does, but it does. And we just feel a different type of energy when it's springtime. And I wanted to kind of bundle that up into an episode and present it to you guys in a way that's tangible and not just your generic, like in the springtime, it's time to reset, which means that it's time to drink more water and do your healthy habits. Like you guys know that. I'm not going to give you the basic advice. I know that you're better than that. You're smarter than that. You guys know the generic healthy habits tips. I feel like I don't have to tell you guys those things. So in this episode, we are going to talk about this woman and how she gets ready for spring. If you have not been following our That Girl to This Woman series, you definitely should go check out the first episode in the series and then all the other episodes after. The first episode in the series was from January, and it was I ditched the that girl mindset to become this woman. And then in the weeks after that, we talked about self-discipline, organizational strategies and goal setting. We talked about healing your hormones, healthy friendships, battling anxiety, breakups, growing a backbone, all kinds of incredible topics that really just encompass stepping into the person that God made you to be. And so, or the woman that God made you to be. We only have a couple more episodes left in the series. So if you haven't caught up so far, you definitely should. A link to the first episode will be in the show notes. And then you can kind of just like backtrack your way up to the most recent episode. So this is episode 10 in the series. And then we've got this episode, another one next week, which will be about self-awareness. And then another one the following week, March 28th, it'll be episode 12, how to become more teachable. And then after that, we're going to wrap up the series. So I'm excited for you guys to listen to the last couple episodes. I've just really, really loved this series. And I know that you guys have too. The amount of DMs that I've received on just the transformation that you guys have felt and the shift that you guys have felt throughout the series has been really, really cool. So I just appreciate you reaching out with your kind words and all the good feedback on the book and all that kind of stuff. Like this series has truly been probably my favorite because of how vulnerable I've been able to be with you. And I just appreciate you guys kind of reciprocating that in your messages and in your testimonies. And I just love being able to connect with you guys, and just to know that this series and this podcast has touched your life in some way is really, really cool. So thank you guys so much. And if you are enjoying the show, please be sure to share with a friend who might like it, leave a review on Apple Podcasts, share on Instagram. Anything that you can do to spread the love is just much appreciated. So this woman is fully embracing the seasons changing. The first day of spring is March 19th. So that's next Tuesday. And I want to equip you with the tools to fully embrace what spring has to offer, because really spring is all about new beginnings, transformation. It's a season that really symbolizes starting fresh. On Google, it said that spring is all about hope and rebirth, new beginnings, new paths, and new life. And I just think that that is so beautiful. Like you just see flowers popping up everywhere, and like you'll probably start to see like baby ducks, and like people are just happy. Spring birthdays are always super fun, aka me. And so I just think that spring, selfishly a little bit, is the best season. And it really just feels like life gets better this time of year. Like people just change and life gets better. And it's just really, really beautiful to start to see everything come back to life. And that's what I love so much about spring. But ultimately, it doesn't really matter what season it is. We tend to switch things up season to season. We do things differently. And when I think of a reset, I think of just finding a way to first off check in with yourself and then finding a way to do things differently. So that's kind of what I'm going to walk you guys through today. I've outlined this episode to cover a couple different areas of life that I believe should be different in the springtime. The first off is mindset. The second one is in the home. And then I'm going to do like a miscellaneous category because I just have like many like little points to make that I don't feel like fit into one specific category. So mindset, in the home, and then miscellaneous. And I also want to hear what you guys are doing for your spring reset. If there's something that you guys think of that I didn't think of, please let me know. And I would love to reshare your answers on Instagram. But when it comes to your ultimate guide for a spring reset, I think that a great first step or first place to start is with your mindset and kind of just reevaluating what you're focused on and if you're still on that New Year's grind. So in January, there's always a big push to reset, realign your goals, this, that, and the other thing, which I think is great. I think that everyone should head into the new year with a very clear vision of what they want out of the year. But a lot of times that looks like a physical appearance goal. Most of the time it's a physical appearance goal, at least kind of in our age demographic. And I think a lot of times when you have a physical appearance goal, it's really, really easy to spend a lot of time treating yourself poorly. And it's easy to spend a lot of time focused on and worrying about the little things. So before we get too far into this reset, I want you to kind of just check in. What are you really focused on? Maybe you need to take a step back and look at it from like a 30,000 foot view. Are you taking good care of yourself? And by good care of yourself, I mean, are you being kind to yourself when you look in the mirror? Are you going to workouts to get stronger, or are you going to workouts as a punishment? Are you holding on to clothes in your closet that you want to be able to wear by summer, but that never really fit you in the first place? Are you truly taking good care of yourself? For me, last spring, I had a really, really big revelation of sorts where I tried to let go of the focus that I had on myself and shift my gaze to a bigger purpose. And I feel like the less I focus on me, the healthier I become. Let me say that again. The less I focus on me, the healthier I become. And when I'm not obsessed with every little meal, every little workout, every little habit, I'm not sad. I'm not lonely. I don't feel like a failure. And that's because oftentimes we set these like lofty, unrealistic expectations for ourselves, especially when it comes to appearance, and especially when it comes to body image, and especially when it comes to summer's coming soon. We really were not wired to worship ourselves. And when you do, even if it's in a negative way, from a negative perspective, it becomes a really lonely place to be. So check in. What are you focused on? Does anything need to shift? Maybe spring is a great opportunity for a new perspective and a new fresh start when it comes to taking care of yourself in the wellness department, in the micro habits department, in the healthy habits department. Your healthy habits aren't healthy if you're obsessed with them. They never are. So keep it 80-20. That's what this podcast is all about. Keep it 80-20. The stress of worrying about if you're taking good care of yourself will oftentimes do way more harm than good. So if you're still on that New Year's grind, because oftentimes by now it's March, the New Year's grind may have turned into obsession over your healthy habits. So check in. Where are you at right now? This whole series has been focused on figuring out who God tells me I am and not who the world tells me to be. And I really believe that our goals are a direct reflection of that. I think a lot of times, like, you know in your gut whether this is right, whether this is from God. You just kind of know, like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, especially if you've been praying hard about it. And that's my biggest piece of advice. If you have a goal and you feel stagnant, or if you have a goal and you're not really sure about it, or if you have a goal or even like a passion or a little tiny whisper in your heart that you're like, okay, maybe that's something that I could do with someday, write it down and then pray about it. And it sounds so basic and so cliche, But I swear, you guys, when I started to just take all my goals to God, everything got so much easier. Speaking of taking your goals to God, spring is the perfect time to start a new project or switch something up or do something differently. So if you have something that's been on your heart for a while that you feel called to do and you feel like spring could be the right time, go after that thing. I have something on my sleeve that I can't wait to share with you. And it just feels good to start in spring. It feels right. It feels like a good time because spring is all about rebirth, hope, new perspectives, and new life. All that to say, I think it's also important to put your goals aside for just a little bit and stop and smell the roses. Get outside, take walks, play outside, take up a new hobby, tennis, pickleball, read in your front yard. I don't know, do something that gets you outside and keeps you excited about life, because if you're too busy to embrace the beauty of life, you're too busy. Let's talk about a spring reset in your home. I had one of those nights last night where I just started cleaning everything. Well, not really cleaning, but I was just on my organization, and I guess it was kind of cleaning to some degree. I just felt really productive. And I spent probably 2 hours. I FaceTimed a bunch of friends, and I just did all those little tasks that you just kind of let slide. I changed the water filter. I cleaned all the handles on my cabinets. I cleaned off the refrigerator. We have a ton of stuff that's just up on the fridge, on a magnet. And I went through all of that. I went through the kitchen junk drawer. I just did all kinds of little random things. I started to clean out my closet a little bit, but I just did a bunch of miscellaneous tasks that kind of don't happen often, that need to happen, and I just did them all at once. And maybe I was just feeling the energy from spring. Maybe I was just having one of those productive nights. I don't know, but it felt so good. And I woke up to a pristine kitchen, and I just had the best day ever. So I don't know what it was, but I need to do that more often, because having a clean home and waking up to a living room and a kitchen that is super clean and everything's kind of put in its place, it just feels really, really good. So let this be a little bit of encouragement to do the cleaning that you've put off. We can call it spring cleaning. Do the cleaning that you've been putting off. So change the AC filter, dust off your overhead fan, wipe down the baseboards, check all of those boxes that typically don't get checked. And I swear you will probably feel so much better. I also think it's a great time to do a closet clean out. This is a pretty standard one for springtime. At least I think it's a pretty standard piece of advice. Spring's a great time to clean out your closet, because you're kind of switching over from the winter wear to the warmer weather wear. I have 2 points when it comes to the closet cleanup. First off is that spring is the perfect time to let go of pieces that you've been holding on to for eventually when you lose the weight. I know that there's a piece in your closet that you've been holding on to that you're going to wear when you lose the weight. We all do it. If I took a poll in front of all my friends, we'd probably all say, yeah, I've got a dress that I've been holding on to that I'm going to wear when I lose the weight. Whether you've worn it before or not, it might be a piece that you wore 2 or 3 years ago and you're holding on to it because, maybe one day I'll fit back into it. Or maybe it's a piece that you bought to help encourage you to lose the weight. I've done that too. Get rid of it, donate it, sell it, do something with it, just get it out. Second thing about the closet is that I know that there are pieces that you've been holding on to that might just remind you of something that wasn't so fun. Or maybe it's old going out clothes that you're never going to wear again. Or maybe it's pieces that just aren't really your style, or clothing that you wear and you just don't feel great in it. Get rid of those things too. Donate it, sell it, get rid of it. What are you really going to wear this spring and summer? Hold on to those pieces and then take yourself out and buy a piece or two that are good, solid pieces that you're going to wear this spring and summer. You really don't need much. I'm a huge fan of the capsule wardrobe. I have 2 pairs of jeans that I love. One I wear when I go out because they just are cuter going out. And then another that I wear on a day-to-day. I just invested in a really cute denim skirt from Madewell. It's got a slit up the front. and it fits really well. Has taken me 23 years to find a cute skirt that I like, a cute denim skirt that I like. It's not a short one, it's a long one. So I could wear it on a date. I could wear it to church. I could wear it out running errands. Get a couple tops that you like, whether it's bodysuits, cute little blouses or something. Stick with like a general color scheme that you like. I'm really into blues, pinks. I'm trying to add a little more color to my wardrobe, so we're working on that. That's a goal of mine for spring, is to add more color to my wardrobe. And then a couple dresses, like get a nice black dress, have a couple floor length casual dresses that you can wear like out and about on like weekends and stuff when you're for the spring and summer. A couple sweatshirts that you like you really don't need much. I'm not a big like fashion person. I'm not a big shopper. I can spend money, but I'm not a big shopper. It's easy to spend money these days. But yeah, I mean, just really like set yourself up for success when it comes to your closet, because you want to feel good in the clothes that you're in. And if you don't, then something has to change, because nothing's worse than putting on a bunch of pieces of clothing that you literally feel gross in. Next thing about the house is anything else. So like closet aside, anything else in your house, if it's just been sitting around for months, if you haven't thought about it in months, or if you've looked at it like a dozen times and thought, oh, I need to get rid of that, I need to do something with it, now is your opportunity to do something with it. So sell it on Facebook Marketplace, give it to a friend, do whatever. Maybe it's a piece of furniture that you don't use anymore. Maybe it's a basket of random books that you want to donate to the library. Like, part of your spring cleaning should be getting out the old things so new opportunities can come in, whether it's, a piece of furniture that you've been eyeing for a long time and that you're excited to invest in, or I don't know what the situation might be, but get rid of the old and embrace the new. That being said, also don't be afraid to switch up the vibe. So maybe you have a frame in your room and you want to get a new print. Maybe go on Etsy and find a new print. You could switch out your sheets. You could toss a couple covers on the pillows in your living room. You could get new salt and pepper shakers for your kitchen. Maybe you decide to try a new flavor of coffee in the morning. Anything that you can do to liven up your space in a really inexpensive way, I think is really cool. Or maybe like fresh flowers in the kitchen, or a new bowl for your fruit. Like you could go to Goodwill for that. Like there are so many ways to liven up your space in a very small manner, and just like little tiny tweaks that maybe only you would notice, but it just feels good and it feels new. That's kind of all I have for in the home, but I think it's cool to just like season to season brighten up your space a little bit, change things, keep them exciting. Once I started to just kind of like deeply care about my space and put in a little bit more effort, I really, really started to feel more at home. So whether you're about to graduate college or you are living on your own for the first time, or whatever the situation is, when you have a happy home, life just gets so much better. So put effort into your space. It doesn't have to be crazy expensive, but just give it a little love, a little TLC. This is category 3, kind of my miscellaneous category. I'm calling it my ins for spring 2024. I know that this was big, like during the new year, ins and outs for 2024. I never really made a list. I don't know why, I just didn't really make a list. So I'm going to share with you guys some of my ins for spring 2024. I don't really have any outs. I only have ins. I feel like it's good to focus on what you're going to do rather than what you're not going to do, because then you just automatically do more of the things that you want to do, and then the things that you don't want to do just kind of fall to the wayside. So first up is wearing more colors and dresses. So I got this really pretty dress from Madewell this past weekend, and I am just obsessed with it. It's really pretty. It's different shades of blue, and it just like falls well on me, and I just feel good in it. And that just made me think like, okay, if I could just get like 4 more dresses, I could just rotate them every day of the week in the summertime, and that could be my outfit. Like I could just be a dress girl, because it takes the same amount of time to throw on a dress as it does to throw on a t-shirt. So why not just be a dress girl? So we'll see how well that goes. It probably won't, but that's an in for me. Okay. Another in number 2 is an early bedtime. I've been rocking with early bedtimes for the past couple months. I love being in bed by like 9:30, and then I read for about 30 minutes, and then I just fall right asleep. So if I could keep up the early bedtime, that would be awesome. More walks. I live in a very walkable place, And I used to do this all the time when I first moved to Annapolis. And I know that there will come a time in my life where I look back on my time in this apartment and wish that I walked more. So I am going to do my future self a favor. Well, I guess I'm my current self too, but just take more walks. Like this afternoon, I was writing this podcast episode and it was like 6:00 and I got to this portion of the episode and I wrote, take more walks. I was like, why don't I just take a walk this afternoon? Like I can literally record the episode when I'm done with my walk. Nothing in my schedule is going to be messed up because of this. Like I can take 20-30 minutes and go for a walk. I did. I felt fantastic. And I'm just so happy that I did it. I feel like you never regret spending time outside. You never regret going for a walk. Okay, safety. Top priority for me. I am obviously a young gal. And I just feel like I've always been very well aware of my surroundings, but I just want to be even more aware of my surroundings. So I got this thing called a birdie and I saw it on Instagram advertisements, and I usually don't pay attention to like sponsored content too much on Instagram, but this one I was like, yeah, I'm getting that. So it's called a birdie. I got it on Amazon and it's like a little keychain thing. You just put on your keychain, and if you're ever in a situation where you need help, you can pull the pin out because it's like two parts. So you just pull the one part out of the other, and it's got a light on it that starts flashing, and then it's a really, really, really loud siren. I pulled it today and my friends were over and I kind of like scared everyone because I was just like, do you guys want to see it? And I just pulled it out, and that was the first time that I heard it. It's so much louder than you think it's going to be, but it's in a situation, if I needed attention, it would definitely draw attention. I also want to take a self-defense class. I know a couple moves. Like I've got friends that, do jujitsu or whatever, and they've, shown me a couple things, but, I want to know more than just a trick or two. Like I want to be well prepared if, hopefully it will never happen, but if something did happen, I would know like a couple moves and feel confident enough to defend myself. So I would love to take a self-defense class. Maybe it would be fun if we did like an 80-20 self-defense class. I don't know, like for the gals. Could be kind of fun. Moving on, number 5, I would love to learn a new skill or like a new party trick, just something like juggling or something like that. I don't know what this new skill is, but I want to be able to just be like, guys, look what I can do, and then just do something cool. I just don't know what that, like I need a good useless skill that you do and people are like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. So when I find it, I'll let you guys know, but I want to learn a new skill. Number 6, ins for spring, writing more. I used to do morning pages. I wrote 3 pages a day. After the book launch, I kind of just fell off of that. I think I needed a break from writing, like a creativity reset, which is totally fine, but I also miss writing intentionally, and doing morning pages is a really, really cool way. If you guys don't know what morning pages is, it's just a method of kind of stirring up the creativity and getting the juices flowing. It's where you write 3 full pages in your journal every single morning. And when I was doing that, like probably back in the fall and winter time, it was so cool. Like I went back in this journal that I had from probably like August, September, October, November, and I just wrote really, really, really well. And writing is one of those skills that's like, if obviously the more you do it, the better you become. But just the stuff that I was reading, I was almost like, did I write that? Is that really me? And so I just think that it was a really cool practice for me at the time. And I just want to get back into it. And then I can kind of craft like, just what my next thing is going to be, my next writing project is going to be. So the goal is 3 pages a day. That's one of my ends for spring. Number 7, I want to have more picnics and tea parties with my girlfriends, maybe like a paint night. I just want to do more fun activities with my girlfriends because we have the best time together. So I just want to do like fun, girly activities. Oh, and then under that, I wrote faith, flowers, and flowy dresses. That's kind of like my theme for the spring. So I don't know what exactly that would entail, but faith, flowers, and flowy dresses. That's kind of the vibe. That's like what I envision when I think of spring this year, is like a bunch of tulips and like flowy dresses and just like, having fun, enjoying life, and just being truly full of joy because of all the blessings that continue to overflow. So that is the spring episode. That's my ultimate guide to a spring reset. And it's really just rooted in, are you stepping into your fullest potential, the fullest version of you. I love you guys so much. Thank you for listening to today's episode. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to leave a rating and a review. That just helps more people find and listen to the show. Join us next Thursday where we will talk about self-awareness in your 20s, and then the following week where we will talk about how to become more teachable. And then we will wrap up our That Girl, This Woman series, which I'm kind of sad about, but I know that the April series will be one that you guys will really love as well. So thank you guys so much for listening today. I hope that you have a great rest of your week, and I will talk to you very soon.